In the US, the number of anti-Semitic attacks has increased by almost 400%. Europe and other parts of the world are plagued by anti-Jewish demonstrations. The most common question I hear now is, where did this new wave of anti-Semitism come from? To which I answer, there is no new wave of anti-Semitism. People often ask us, rabbis, why don't we see the fulfillment of any of biblical prophecies today? In ancient times, people saw the confirmation that the Torah is true because they were witnessing with their own eyes how its predictions were realizing. And now people ask, well, we are now also seeing the fulfillment of the Torah's prophecies. And you know what? We are even taking part in them. The Torah says that just like the Jewish nation is eternal, so is anti-Semitism. Halacha psuka Esav soneh et Yaakov. This doesn't mean that every Gentile is an anti-Semite, but this means that we will always experience hatred simply because we are Jewish. The world's history saw many ethnic disputes. They flared up and they faded away. None of them lasted for 4,000 years. Many nations have enemies, but no nation has experienced hatred in every country and throughout dozens of centuries. As for us, we were lucky to be born in the era immediately after the Holocaust, when all of mankind was shocked by the atrocities committed by Nazis. And therefore, anti-Semitism has subsided slightly for a short while. All we are seeing now is its return to its usual levels. During this period of slight decrease of anti-Semitism, we made two mistakes. Number one, we began to think that it will stay like this for forever, that humanity has already progressed past Jew hatred. Of course, there are some anti-Semitic incidents here and there, but en masse, anti-Semitism is a thing of the past, we believed. Well, as we see, humanity has not progressed anywhere. The second, even bigger mistake is that we started believing that art and science make people better humans, and an educated person will no longer be an anti-Semite. A belief in this dogma contradicts all of the history. The most enlightened society in the middle of the 20th century was Germany. But, contrary to all evidence, we began believing that since we live now in an educated and cultured society, we don't need to worry anymore about anti-Semitism. Well, guess what? We do need to worry about it. So why have colleges become epicenters of anti-Semitism? Why is it that the more advanced university is, the more anti-Semitic it is? Why do most of elite media outlets hate Israel? Does higher education make people less moral? Does the study of chemistry or philosophy create anti-Semites? Of course not. Arts and science by themselves, of course, don't make people less moral. A degree in physics doesn't force anyone to become an anti-Semite. But the belief that higher education makes people more moral, this belief itself makes people less moral. If I study science for the sake of science itself, that's great. I understand that it gives me the information I need for expertise in this area and nothing else. And for moral values, I will turn to those who can teach me those moral values. But if I learn math or music thinking that this will make me a purer person, a more moral human, then I will no longer look for anything or anyone to teach me those moral values. By insisting that science makes people moral, universities raised a generation void of ethical values. If I believe that a person who is learning biology or language arts cannot be an anti-Semite, then I will not even bother explaining to him that anti-Semitism is bad. So we stopped explaining it to people and we see the result. We must fight anti-Semitism as hard as we can, but we should not be surprised when we see it, especially when it comes from people who think that a doctorate in linguistics made them better humans.